Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have my TBR for the month of June 2025, halfway through the year, which is fun. This TBR is a little ambitious for me, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Almost all of these books are rather short. I think the longest one on my TBR is a little over 400 pages, which was on my TBR for last month. Didn't get to it, so I'm going to try to fit it in this month. Other than that, everything here is like 300-ish pages or less. So I'm hoping that I can get all of these done. I want to get, my reading back up a little bit, get some more videos done for the channel and things like that. So I want to try to get, a bunch of stuff done, including several books that I've been wanting to do and things like that. Just haven't been able to squeeze in. I did have to remove some books from my TBR that I had been planning on reading in June or July, that kind of, I've had a lot planned for this summer that I've had planned for months that I had to take off for this month, which is unfortunate, but I am going to try to get to at least most of these, and it is a little ambitious. It's 7 books, but like I said, most of them are quite short, so I'm hoping I can at least get most of them done. And June is looking like it should be a less chaotic month for me than the last couple months have been, so hopefully I will be able to make the time to fit all of these in. So without any further ado, let's, start talking about it. So first things first, I have a reread of Star Wars Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, which was on my TBR last month, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Enjoyed this the first time around, but I want to have a review for it on the channel, and also it's been 3 or 4 years since I read it last. I think closer to 4, so I want to reread it and see what I think of it now. So there's that one. I also have a self-published book. I want to try to get into the habit of doing one of those a month. And this is a little bit of a unique case. This is The Heritage by Alan Gurnia and Elmer Moritz. This is one that towards the beginning of the year, if you happen to have seen my review for it, this is in the same set of books as The Rise of Tyrannotopia. This is a book detailing the lore and the story behind the music of the metal band Distant. This is a band that, first of all, makes music that I really like, but also the singer and one of the other band members have come up with this lore and background for their lyrics and decided to write it down into book format. And they have released so far 3 books. I already read the first one. This is the second one, which corresponds to their album Heritage. So this one's also pretty short. I think it's like 170 pages, and been wanting to read the next, Distant book for a little bit now, so I figured I would throw this in here too, and hopefully I'll enjoy that. I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. The writing was a little rough. They're a band from Europe, and so the English was not quite there, and things like that. The writing was a little rough. It was very clearly like a self-written, like self-produced book. And so, that was a little rough, but the story itself and the atmosphere and all that stuff was pretty good. So hopefully I'll enjoy this one. I also have one that I've been looking forward to for a while now, which is Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. I read Dune for the first time a few years ago and liked it. And then I read it again, I think at the beginning of last year. I reread it again and I loved it the second time around. And part of the reason for doing that reread was because I was thinking about reading the rest of the Dune series, at least the rest of Frank Herbert's books. Maybe eventually I'll read some of the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson stuff. I know that's a little more controversial, but I might still want to check that stuff out too eventually. But I at least want to read Frank Herbert's 6 books. And so I did a reread of Dune because I was like, I liked it. Don't know if I liked it enough to continue. So I reread it and I did like it enough to continue. So now I own the next handful of books. And so I'm going to be reading Dune Messiah hopefully this month. Also, fairly short one. I think it's the shortest book in the Dune series. And so that's one that I had been planning on for a while, and it was, still pretty short. And I was like, I'll just keep this one on here. Plus, I've been looking forward to reading this one for a while. I've heard the next couple Dune books get kind of weird and things like that, but hopefully I'll still enjoy it. We'll see how it goes. Next one on the list is going to be another somewhat unique one, something that I haven't really reviewed anything like on the channel. I've reviewed 1 or 2 books like it, similar, but that is going to be Batman the Killing Joke. Now, this is not the comic book of The Killing Joke. This is a novel adaptation of it. Some time ago, a few months ago, I got the 2 Batman novels novels, which are The Killing Joke and The Court of Owls, which both adapt their respective comic book storylines. I believe there's another one or two books in this line of books as well, but I don't have those. I picked this up a couple months ago. Thought it was really cool that this, first of all, existed, because I didn't really know. It seems like, comic book, novels are not like a super common thing. Apparently they're a little more common than I thought, but I don't tend to see them out in bookstores very often, at least in the ones that I go to. And so I was very excited to see this, and I thought that was really cool. I've been a casual fan of Batman for a long time now, ever since I first saw Batman Begins back in maybe 2006, 2007, if I had to guess. And that kind of started my love of Batman. I'm not much of a comics reader in general, so I'm not too familiar with his comic storylines, but I enjoy several of the movies and the Arkham video game series and some other things here and there, some of the TV show stuff that I've seen a little bit of here and there. And things like that. But I figured, since I'm more of a novel reader than a comic reader, although I am trying to get into comics a little bit here and there, but since I'm more of a novel reader, I thought this would be a good way for me to experience that very iconic story in a format that works better for me. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one. I'm hoping I'll enjoy it. It is a very popular comic book, so I am curious to see how the novelization of it works. Next one up is going to be a book that is pretty popular here on BookTube, at least it was a couple years ago, and is still kind of a beloved book on Sci-Fi Fantasy BookTube, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I was sent this by my friend Ryan a few months ago, so thank you to him for sending this my way. This is one of the books that is very popular on BookTube, and I eventually want to read through more of the books that are very popular on BookTube, just so I can kind of check off some of those boxes of okay, I've read this. There's several other ones like that that I own or that I want to get that are similar to that, Name of the Wind and Sun Eater, different things like that are very popular here on BookTube. Legends and Lattes is one of those, one that I saw being talked about a lot when I first started checking out Fantasy BookTube, and so I've been wanting to read it for a while, and it seems very unique from what I usually read. It's kind of labeled as that cozy fantasy, which from what I can think of, I don't think I've really read anything like that yet, so it'll be very different, very interesting, and a unique experience for me to have, and by all accounts that I've heard, also a really good book, so hopefully I'll have a good time with that one as well. Next one I have is going to be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. A little while ago, I got the bind-up of the Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which includes all of the 5 Hitchhiker's books by Douglas Adams, and I figured I probably would want to at least start that sometime this summer and work my way through all of the books in it over the course of several months or whatever, and so I figured I would start the first one, because again, it's fairly short, should be kind of a quick, fun read. I have heard a lot of great things about this book. Obviously, it's a very beloved kind of comedic sci-fi book, and I don't read a whole lot of comedic type books. I love the handful of Discworld books that I've read by Terry Pratchett, and I've heard that this is a little different, but kind of in a similar vein, so I'll be curious to see what I think of it. And it seems like the rest of the whole series, most people really like the first one, then the rest of the series is kind of all over the place, so I'm curious to see what I will think of it. But either way, I'm really looking forward to reading this. This is one that I've actually wanted to read for many years now, probably going on a decade or so, but just never got around to, so I'm excited to be finally checking that out as well. And the last book that I have on my TBR for June is actually another reread. I didn't initially, when I wrote it down, didn't mark it as a reread, but I guess it actually is, which is The Tale of Despero by Kate DiCamillo. This is a book that I read way back when I was a kid. I read this back, I think, in elementary school, when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. I probably would have been I don't know, 8, 9 years old maybe. And I really liked it when I read it back in school. This is one that was an assigned reading that we had to read back in our class. And I loved it so much that I asked my parents to buy it for me, or I might have been my parents, might have been another family member, I can't remember. But either way, I did get the actual book, and then I never read it again. And so some time ago, I think late last year, I was going through some of my things at my parents' house, trying to find something completely unrelated, and stumbled upon this, and I was like, oh, I can take that home and I can, read it sometime and see what I think of it now that it's been 15 years or so since I read it. So I'll be curious to see what I think of it. This one, again, short book and also, written for a younger audience, and something that will hopefully be a fun time for me to revisit now all these years later. I do remember enjoying it quite a bit. I also saw the movie adaptation when it was in theaters. We actually went on a field trip, the whole class, to go see that, which was fun after we read the book. So hopefully I'll enjoy that one as well, and it'll be fun to kind of revisit a childhood favorite. So that is pretty much it for this TBR. I know it's a little ambitious. I do not know if I'll get to everything on this TBR. I, of course, as always, hope that I will, but at the very least, I've got like a nice wide range of stuff that I can choose from, and hopefully can get through at least a good chunk of this during this month. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books before, and if so, what you thought of them, or anything like that. If there's anything here you want to read, anything here you're excited to hear my thoughts on, whatever you may think, let me know in the comments. And if you have anything cool that you're planning to read during June, then let me know that in the comments as well. So that is pretty much it for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.